So I really think at the end of the day, your culture is king, and being so wildly protective of that it doesn't matter how good you are. You have to be good for the team.
Welcome to the Insurance Refocused podcast, where we're highlighting real agent stories and how they are innovating to respond to the changes and challenges happening in the independent insurance industry. My name's Lindsay, and I can't wait to introduce you to my amazing co-host, who just so happens to be my mom, Carey Wallace. Mom, how you doing today?
I'm having a fantastic day. I hope you are too. I gotta tell you, I get to do something really fun this afternoon.
What are you doing?
When I'm done with this, it's beautiful outside, and we have committed to playing pickleball with our friends every single Friday. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. What do you got going on today, Linz?
I'm doing something really fun that I am realizing before it comes out of my mouth makes me seem like super unfun and cool, but I'm going to Costco after work today, and I'm so excited. I've only been once before, and I'm not kidding you. My boyfriend Patrick and I talked about it all weekend like it was like an amusement park. So we're going back, and we're going to get a Costco pizza, and we're going to come back and drink our, $3 bottle of wine that should have been $15 at the grocery store, because that's just how that goes. I'm so excited.
Oh, you're so grown up. I love it. That's amazing. I'm also super excited to be able to invite a super good friend of mine, and actually my accountability partner in a recent thing that we're doing together. But we have Beth with us today. Beth DeLaForest. Sorry, I just talked to you about Beth. Like, you're just Beth to me. You know what I mean? But so Beth, welcome to the Insurance Refocused podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for asking me. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah.
So Beth, tell us a little bit about how you got your start in the industry.
Okay. So I'll do the flyover version because it's this year it's 22 years, so it's a little bit of a story, right?
Yeah.
I started actually when I was 20. I needed to find a way to afford my rent, and so I took a job as a receptionist at a State Farm agency, and it was full-time, and I, from there, got licensed like 3 months later, and then started in sales and service, and I just kind of dove headfirst in. And I learned a lot there. It was a great training ground. And then I was there for 10 years. And then at 10 years, so then I was 30. And my kids were 2 and 3, and I don't know what kind of crazy person. I guess this is this definition of crazy, because this is how I roll. But when my kids were 2 and 3, I started a book from scratch. I went independent. I went from captive world to independent world. Took a deep dive in commercial insurance. I was smart enough to negotiate my first right of refusal. So I built there for 3.5 years. It was a small, slow build because I was dividing my time between kids and building. But my main reason was that I really wanted to learn commercial. So I had a great mentor for commercial insurance there. And then in 2014, the two agencies that I had been at, one of the things that really birthed a huge passion out of those, the experience of those agencies was a huge passion for culture. And so that was pretty much my main why for starting Aspire in 2014. So I purchased the book of business that I built, and then started Aspire with that. And we've just built organically, really strong focus on word of mouth. I actually have never had an advertising budget, which some people think I'm very weird. But word of mouth and relationship marketing has worked so good for me. And it's helped me control the culture of the people that come into the business, the people I'm working with. So I really love my clients, and I really love what I do. So we built organically until 2020. We did an acquisition in 2020 funny enough, me, Aspire Insurance Group, purchased Aspire Insurance Agency. And so that was a very easy merge of the two entities.
Yeah.
And then we've just been growing organically since then.
Hey guys, if you're looking to improve your bottom line, allow your team to operate efficiently, and really improve that customer retention, I believe you should check out Ascend. Ascend is the all-in-one insurance payment solution. They are focused on streamlining your invoicing, premium financing, accounting, and they'll even make your carrier payables for you. They are taking agency bill and making it as easy as direct bill. That is a game changer. They integrate with all of the major AMS players, and here's the best part. It's free. There is no subscription, no cost to you. They allow your customers to pay how they want. If you are interested in improving your efficiency, go visit ascend.com/insurance refocused and let them know that we sent you.
I love that you touched on your culture and that that's really important to you. I actually, if I understand correctly, you recently hired your daughter, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how you did that and how you protected the culture of your agency by doing that.
So I would say first, I started reading that book. It's actually right here. It's The Remarkable Insurance Agency by Chuck Blondino. Such a great resource.
It's a great book.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I
Such
really
a good book.
Love it.
Yes.
He just hits the nail on the head, like the relationship marketing piece. I'm just eating it up. But anyway, so he talks in there about how you really need to have a marketing person. Mm-hmm. And my daughter, she's 16, so she is only with us about 10 hours a week. But she, she's of that age where technology is just what they do and what they know. And so this is a very little learning curve for her. And I will tell you, I was terrified at first because at the agencies that I've been at before I started Aspire, I saw some very dysfunctional family relationships, where I would say the kids were almost gifted positions, but then there was a lack of accountability, and then bitterness grew within the team, and then that his culture, and then all of a sudden I'm not going down that road. And so how can I do this in a way where it honors my team and it doesn't disrupt our culture, but still gives the opportunity for us to have a marketing person and gives Chloe an opportunity to have something nice on her resume and that type of thing. So I actually decided that the best way to do it was completely remove myself. And so I had our agency manager and another Whitney, who's actually our personal lines, but the three of us collectively had been kind of doing marketing like as a little side project.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I had them interview her and go through all of the hiring steps, which in hindsight, I'm like, this was so fun because it took me out of the picture with Chloe. I am not acting as her boss, but it also gave me an opportunity to elevate my team and turn them into leaders. They had a chance to learn how to interview and to go through that whole process. And now they're having to make plans for her and kind of manage her. And then it took me out of the role of being torn between being a mom and being her boss, which is, I don't want that pull between her and I, especially with a 16-year-old, right? Like, I have enough terrain to try to navigate. I don't need to add boss on top of that role.
Oh yeah. When I started in the industry, I'm very lucky that my mom had connections. I had just graduated from my undergrad and it was in the middle of COVID, and I'm like, I have no idea what I want to do with my life. This is the world is shut down and so is my career options. I was very overwhelmed, and I said, Mom, I really want to do marketing, something in community outreach. I like helping people help. And she said, you know what? I have a great opportunity for you, and got me a job. And through this job, I have learned so much about insurance, and I really like the industry. And I think I really like it because there is that culture of people helping and other people elevating other people. So I really like that how you said that you used it as an opportunity to grow your staff and to grow your daughter, because I think that's really special.
Yeah.
I would say, Beth, I get to talk to a lot of family-run businesses, and you're right. Some of them have really poor cultures because they're not run like a business. It's really run like a family, and accountability and that whole entitlement. I hate to use that word, but I don't have another word for it. Really can eat at some really strong players in an agency. And, I spend my time helping people transition. It's really why we wanted to create this podcast, was to share stories about the common things you all are going through and different perspectives on how to go about it. So when you told me about you didn't not bring your daughter in. That's not what you chose to do. And you didn't not give her an opportunity, but you did it in a way that included everyone. And honestly, they're responsible for reviewing her work and for, that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So I did it in a different way. I just introduced her to another organization. But I think the industry is amazing. Yeah. And, I think that, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Well, and I think the fun thing about my situation specifically was, someone else is managing me, similar to your daughter, but I still have my mom as a mentor, someone that I can come to for resources, for advice, for all different types of things. And I think the way you did it, you'll still have that same type of dynamic as well, which I think is really special. It's something that I'm sure my dad doesn't love that my mom and I have, because we literally talk about work all the time now, but I think it's just in our nature to do so.
Yeah. Lindsay, you are so correct, because on Sunday I do a lot of planning for my week and just kind of getting my head in the right spot and a lot of that type of thing. And Chloe puts in a couple hours on a Sunday just for content creation. Mm-hmm. So she'll actually sit up here with me and just bounce ideas and ask questions the whole time. And so it's actually been really, like, the Sunday's kind of fun, and it's on her own merit, that she comes in and is asking the questions she is. And so it's been really fun.
Yeah, I love that. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I think is also really special is that you're doing it with your daughter. I mean, it's no secret we're in a very male-driven industry. I mean, coming in, there's been quite a few things that have shocked me, but one of the main things that shocked me was my mom was speaking at a conference in Charleston, which is where I live. And so she said, "Hey, come to dinner, like, some of my great friends will be there. I can't wait to introduce you." And so I come to dinner, we're having a great time. But at one point during the dinner, I was having a conversation with someone there, and I said, "Where's the women? Like, I'm hearing, oh, this is so-and-so's wife, this is so-and-so's wife, but are any women in this group?" And they said that it was a males club. And I think that was shocking to me, because I've never been invited into a man's club, and it was very eye-opening. What are your thoughts on bringing your daughter into that and being in that space yourself?
Yeah, I actually don't have anything wrong. Like, I don't have a problem with a group being men only or female only. I think that if you're going to have a group that's female only, right, then we would have to be okay. I always say you have to be able to flip the script, right? So, like, if it's going to be okay for us to have women's groups, women in insurance groups, which there seems to be quite a few of them, then guess what? The flip side has to be okay too. And there definitely is, there's more men in the industry than there is women. That's for sure. But I don't really feel like I have been at any kind of disadvantage as a woman. I mean, of course, there's going to be times where I face, like, different challenges. And that's okay, because there's also been times, probably equally, if not more so, that I've had probably some leg up, even just because of the natural traits that come with a more feminine type of leadership, right? Which So I think that it's my takeaways on the whole women and men and in the industry is more so like I only want to be invited, as you were talking about, to the table
Mm-hmm.
because of the value that I bring. I don't want to be invited because of my anatomy. I
Yeah.
want it to be on, my merit, my character, my journey, you know, the value that I can bring to the conversation, to the table,
Mm-hmm.
but not because of my anatomy, I guess.
Yeah. Actually, earlier today, I was actually thinking about that because I've had quite a few people recently say, "Oh, you know why you got that opportunity, right? Because your mom is who she is." And in the moment, I didn't say, "Oh yeah, that I probably did actually." In the moment, I said, "Oh yeah, sure." But reflecting further upon that, I thought to myself, I didn't get that opportunity because my mom is who my mom is. I got that opportunity because I worked hard. And so I definitely see that, like, I don't want to be invited just because of my anatomy or because my mom is who my mom is or because I'm this or I'm that. I want to be invited because I bring something to the table and I have something to say. So
Mm-hmm.
I really like that viewpoint.
Yeah, and I think that it's really important we hold true to that. Like, I want to be invited because I have a skill set or I have a talent that can help somebody else. And I think that's true inside an agency. I think you need to, if you're going to run your agency and have it run well, you need to pick the people who are talented, who are qualified, and if they happen to be related to you, treat them the same. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's a great lesson. But it is kind of interesting. We're inside the industry and we've been there before. And I was once in a situation where I was the only female in the room and we were all introducing ourselves. And one of the people was also from Canada. So he said, "I'm the token Canadian." So as a joke, I said, "I'm the token woman," but I didn't really feel that way. I was invited for a reason into that room. And I don't want to be there unless I can bring value because listen, there's no purpose of that. And I do think there's great merit in having mentors that are men, mentors that are female, mentors that think completely differently than me. I prefer it to be mixed because I think there's diversity in thought.
Mm-hmm.
But, for a specific thing, I actually, chose to do it with you because I think we have a great complement to each other. So I want to talk about that a little bit. So you and I are doing this challenge called the Dirty 130, right?
Yep.
And for those of you that don't know what that is, David Carruthers wrote a book. It's called Dirty 130, and it's really about building your sales skills and really building a consistent way to go to and really create sales inside your business. And we've been doing that, but my style, I have no style of sales, to be quite honest with you. I'm a financial person, so I would not call myself a salesperson, but our style, I think, is very similar. And so, you described it beautifully between being a hunter and a farmer.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about what that means to you and how we've actually been able to build our consistency with this challenge as what we would call more farmers, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's funny. It's really easy for me to switch into like envy mode with David Crothers because he is like, well, I mean, on the front of the cover of Dirty 130, it's like cold blooded, like he is straight up hunter. And I love the energy that comes with that. And it's fun. And then I want to be that too. Here's the deal. It's not that I can't hunt. I'm actually a really natural farmer. My natural way is more of I would say it would be more of an attract than prospect. And so it is really heavy on relationship marketing. It's connecting with people, building trusting, really deep-rooted relationships. So think of referral partners, me getting the phone to ring into me versus ringing the phone out, like cold calling. So I can cold call. And I will tell you, when I had to do it when I was 20 years old, that was mortifying, because rejection back then was very hard to handle. Now that I'm 42, it's not such a big deal. I don't take that personal at all. But it's not what comes natural to me, how I naturally would sell. And so with that challenge, what I've done personally is just kind of modify it to myself. Like, how would a farmer leverage these tactics so that it's a little bit more of a hunter, but still authentic to my how. So I'm not trying to be somebody that I'm not naturally, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, it definitely makes sense. I mean, think about it. I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, my business, I've never cold called. I mean, I can honestly tell you, I've never been in a role that I had to cold call, and I probably never will be. I mean, maybe that sounds terrible. So I guess the beauty of this is, that's what I love about this industry. You can be successful in a lot of different ways. It's not a one size fits all.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a one size fits all with family run agencies. It's not a one size fits all with what your sales structure is.
Yeah.
But the key is, know what your core is and make sure that you're being consistent in what you're doing. Right. And so it's been really eye opening watching you do it and execute it well inside your agency, and bouncing ideas off of it that help me in my business, which has been pretty exciting.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
I've never thought of myself as a salesperson. It's the reason I took the challenge in the first place. So,
I was told one time, and this has always stuck in my head, the best salesperson's not a salesperson. And I love that, because you just go in and you're just relating with people. And it kind of goes back to that Chuck Blondino. One of the first things he said is, these buyers now are more savvy and more sophisticated. We did a professional training today, and by Darren Hardy for our agency. We do it once a month. And there was a statistic that he gave that on average, we have about 30,000 different types of attempts to persuade us, whether it's to buy or to whatever it is. So if you think, if we're absorbing 30,000 attempts of persuasion or sales in some manner, that's a lot. And so I think that, sometimes we can just add to the noise, rather than, if you come in authentically, not coming in as like high pressure sales or like sales tactics, I think it disarms people. Agreed.
100%. So tell me what you think about this, Beth. You've been in this industry for a long time, and you've definitely built an incredible business. There's no two ways around that. What do you think an agency owner needs to do to be successful where we are today? And what are you doing to be successful tomorrow in your agency? Tell me what that looks like for you.
We've done a couple of things in the past couple of years I really feel that have really brought us to the next level. First is, I'd say probably my biggest asset is that I lead with a lot of empathy, and I have a really high EQ, and I stay super connected with my team. So if anything smells off, I'm very in tune with them intentionally. And so I know it right away. I'm also not afraid to make hard decisions. Like July of 21, I made one of the hardest decisions that I've made, and I fired my best CSR because she was a toxic A. And so being willing to make those really hard choices to protect the team but your team sees that. And so the amount of loyalty and synergy and happiness that comes on the back end of really hard decisions. So I would say that all that is really just protecting your culture. So I really think at the end of the day, your culture's king, and being so wildly protective of that it doesn't matter how good you are. You have to be good for the team. And so I would say that would be one. The other thing is, I really feel like modern day leadership, doing things, realizing how important, like, our employees are dealing with a lot of things at home so doing things that allows them to be fully themselves and have freedom and flexibility. Like we do unlimited vacation. And that has worked so good for us. And it weeds the bad fits out, and it buys loyalty with the people that are a good fit. I do some different things, like I do Friday 15s. We don't have them the one time a month we do professional training, but other than that, I do Friday 15s with my team. And it's literally like, what are you doing this weekend? How was Emma's birthday party? Just, how is your husband feeling? Because he's been having some health problems. And I take notes and I follow up and check in with them. And it's amazing. Like some of the things that I have known that my team has navigated, like the amount of, when you know what they're dealing with at home and you know the things that they're dealing with, you can lead better. Because if you don't know what's going on behind the scene, some of the things that you can see at work, you can just handle it better. And so I have someone who started with us. It's our commercial lines account manager. And she actually moved from a banking position because of our culture and because of how we hired. And we use something called Acumax, which is neuroscience. It measures how you're wired. And the whole process of how you're hired, she took a $25,000 pay cut just to come onto our team.
Wow.
I mean, and here's the thing is I wasn't going to budget. I knew what we could afford in the position, right? But the point of it is that your A players are not going to they're not looking for money. They're looking for culture and a company that's aligned and says what they do and do what they say and is authentic. And so I would say that it's like being human, being authentic, staying super connected, and everything I do is for their good. My job is to take care of them. Their job is to take care of clients, and I don't do anything client-facing.
It's hilarious to me that in the world we live in today, not hilarious, it's interesting to me, in the world we live in today with a million different insurtechs, shiny new toys, it really comes down to relationships. What's making you successful is investing in your people in a very meaningful way, and then giving them all the tools they need to serve your clients. You also said something super important. You do nothing client facing. For anyone who's listening, what I do is value independent insurance agencies. And the worst thing you can do as an owner is make it all dependent on you. Your agency isn't dependent on you. I mean, I know that sounds super counterintuitive. It is one of the most beneficial things you can do because your business is transferable. So if and when you ever want to transfer ownership, it doesn't matter that it's not you. It matters that your team stays in place and your customers are well taken care of. And that's gold, Beth. Like it's serious gold.
But beyond that, it's empowering your team. They don't need to go through a bunch of red tape. You show them that you trust them. I mean, if they're in crisis mode, of course I'm going to swoop in and help. But
sure,
mostly it's just to get out of their way, build them up, train them well, stay connected, mentor them, pour in, but get out of their way. Just, trust them. And
it's not a lot of tricks. It's just be human. It's a pretty, it's really awesome. And I love that people are hearing this because I think there's an awful lot of people, just like you said, I'd love to be a cold-blooded killer like David Carruthers, but it's not who I am. So if I tried to do that, I would be very frustrated. And, I would probably cry if I had so many rejections if I did cold calls. That would not be the right approach for me. Mm-hmm. But be true to who you are and then capitalize on it. And you could be incredibly successful, which is pretty impressive. So, I love that message.
Beth, what do you think one piece of advice you would give yourself if you could talk to 2001 just started Beth?
Just go for it.
Just go for it.
Yep. I was scared. Because, when I was at State Farm, it was, you're just an order taker. It was a lot of messages, really limiting, which is fine. That served a purpose in my life. But I also spent 10 years, and I feel like, where could I be right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, look where you are now, though. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. That's awesome. Well, I am so happy that you were willing to come on here and share your story. You've made a huge impact on me as well. Like, we met 2 years ago at a mastermind meeting. We happened to sit next to each other, and I've considered you a friend ever since. And I really enjoy our check-ins, keeping me accountable to what I'm doing and how I'm building my business, and vice versa. So thank you so very much for spending time and being such a great force in my life, for sure.
Likewise. Thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the Insurance Refocused podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, please be sure to hit subscribe and leave us a review so you'll never miss us. Want to learn more about how Agency Focus can help you grow your agency? Head to agency-focus.com or email Carey directly at carey@agency-focus.com. If you need to get in touch with me, feel free to shoot me an email at lindsay@agency-focus.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week.